Huh. I don't see this yet. But oh well. I get tired
On
of this.
Facebook?
Huh?
On what? On Facebook or what?
I don't know what's going on. Okay, ready?
Sure.
Hello friends, Bill Baker, host of the Prairie Real Estate Show, found right here on 103.5 FM, The Sun, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Hey, when I'm not on the radio, I'm working with folks just like you to help them buy and sell homes. I'm proud to say that my team, the Baker Realty Group, has been helping people buy and sell homes in the greater Sun Prairie area for over 10 years. Information about buying and selling a home is available on my website, thebakerrealtygroup.com.
Missed
on
you?
Facebook,
Missed you.
by searching
Where?
The
Here?
Baker Realty
I
Group,
haven't talked to you
or by
forever.
calling 608
Had lunch last Wednesday.
575-6731.
Wasn't it? Was that the last time we talked?
Relax and enjoy the Sun Prairie
Oh,
Real
what's
Estate
that
Show
look?
with Bill Baker and Lauren Stanfield. Brought to you by the Baker Realty Group.
Welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show with your host, Bill Baker.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Shay, thanks for that wonderful introduction. I got to thank my sister. I always
Of
got to
course.
thank my sister.
Yep.
Gotta love that sister thing. You know, you get a sister and you gotta hang on to her.
I don't have one.
I'll loan you one. I got a spare.
I got a spare sister.
A
Okay.
spare sister. Hey, I'm Bill Baker. You're listening to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show, and we're you're on 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie, the Baker Realty Group, and of course Wintrust Mortgage. Glad to be back in the saddle. We've been gone for a little while. Technology is just such a fun thing, you know. But it can be fun, I reckon. But we've been dealing with new software here in the studio, and so that delayed things a little bit. But that's okay. We're here. Laura and I are never too far away. We're somewhere, aren't we?
Here? I mean, Sun Prairie's not that big.
We're here. We're here.
Mhm.
It's been an interesting month, and it's only the 16th. You've heard a lot of things going on the market. We missed the elections, broadcasting about that, and going to talk about how that kind of folds things out a little bit, and where interest rates are, what's happened to interest rates. Going to talk about did you say a 2-1 buy down?
2-1 buy down. There's lots of options.
Yeah, and this was one of them that I picked up that I wanted to have you talk about, and we'll get to that in a little while. Tell us what's going on in the market.
Well, actually, let's see if we have an update. It's been volatile as always, but today so far is looking kind of good. So I don't remember the last time we were on the air, but for sure, what was it?
We're over 7%.
So that was, I think, after we had seen that crazy bad day in the market, if I remember, the worst I had seen in 25 years, where rates were up like 1.5% in a matter of hours. Crazy. And then last Friday, of course, was Veterans Day. So Thursday was the last day last week that the market was open, and we saw a major awesome rally.
Okay.
And so then we gained back a lot of that. It was really awesome to see. So then this week has been a little up and down, but we really haven't lost the majority of what we gained last Thursday, which is good. So people just always care about, well, what does that mean? What's the rate? Well, depends on your situation. But
What's that mean? What's the rate?
Did I call that one?
You did.
I knew you'd ask, or
I
somebody
know.
was asking,
Of
wondering out
course.
there. I'd say in most cases, probably 6.75.
Okay.
But like we were, we've been up 0.5% higher than that for sure. Really, it's time to explore lots of options because we're noticing recently that for whatever reason, the 20-year is a lot more competitive than it normally is.
Yeah.
So there's always options. I think people kind of get stuck in, well, I got to do a 30-year fixed. No, you don't. It depends on what kind of a payment you're comfortable with. A shorter term does mean a higher payment.
Sure.
But like a 15-year has always been an excellent idea because half your payment goes to principal instead of interest. You can get a much lower interest rate with a 15 than with a 30. With a 20, we usually see a little bit of a difference, an eighth or a quarter at best difference between a 20 and a 30. So not a lot of people go that route. 25, we almost see no difference at all, like between a 25 and a 30. So you might as well just do a 30, pay more, no prepayment penalty. But right now, in the last few days, I guess I'd say, the 20-year is a lot more competitive than it usually is. So I'm just going to say,
Well, that's interesting.
keep your options open.
Okay. Well, and we're going to talk about this because financing and your mortgages, your loans, your ideas, the whole thing. That's really going to play into this market in the next 6 to 7 months. And if you decide you want to sit and listen to the naysayers, you want to listen to the national media that's out there, then go ahead and just wake up every morning and be miserable the rest of the day. But what I'm leading up to is that I'm going to tell you that the Sun Prairie market is doing pretty darn good. And what I mean by that is we're holding our values. The value of homes they're sticking. Now, are we seeing?
So we're not in the middle of a housing crash?
No, we're not
We're
in a
not?
crash. There's not a crash.
I don't know why people think that still.
Oh my gosh, 7%. I would have killed for this back in what, 84?
Right.
85?
Well, you wouldn't have killed for it. However, you would have been excited about the rates right now.
Never did I ever think that the rates would be at 7. I mean, I was at 14
Yeah.
on our first place, so it was kind of interesting. But hey, I want to do this. I want to, if you don't mind, I'd like to break down. We didn't talk as in detail about October, and then I want to lead into November because right now there's only been 9 sales for the month of November.
Well, we're halfway through.
Well, yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
we're way down.
Yeah.
We are way down. Did I say way down? Way
You sure
down.
did.
Let's get a little southern tone in there. Way down.
down.
Way down. So let's look at this. Now, you hear the market about the market slowing down. I'm going to call it a shift. It's not slowing down, it's shifting. Now, the reason for that shift, and the biggest reason, blah, 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 is the interest rates. And what has happened there. This time last year, we were right around 2.89, 3%, flirting back and forth. And today, we're Laura just said, like 6.85. I like that number, 6.85.
6.75.
Okay.
Mine's better.
So it just blows you away when you think about it because how does this happen? Well, the government steps in and they made it happen. And I honestly believe, and I'm not a grassy knoll kind of guy and all this, but I think they're using housing. They're hurting the housing market to push the inflation numbers, to really show an impact with that. And because people right now we're seeing all these layoffs. Oh my God, Amazon's laying off 11,000 people.
Yeah, that's really scary,
Right.
actually.
Well, they just hired 11,000 people.
And these are supposedly, what I had heard anyway, so they have a lot of turnover there anyway, just
Sure.
because of the warehouse aspect of
Right.
what they do. But this is a lot of white collar, like executive type positions that were
Right.
let go of, which is, I think, interesting.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Mm.
Hey, so the number of properties that came out of the market in October was down 13%. We already reported to you in our last show that the sales were down. The number of sales, number of units sold was down 41%. But the good part was the average sale price was up 23% to $424,000. Now, that gives us a median price of all 30 that was sold at $402,000, and that's still a tough number.
Yeah.
It's a tough number to really grab onto, but it's there. Of the houses that sold, they sold right at asking price. It was 99%, so 1% less than the asking price on average of all of them.
So there's a little negotiating.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 9 of the 30 had competing offers, which was 30%, which that number is down by 5% compared to 2021. And so you're seeing a little bit of adjusting there. 10 homes sold for less than the asking price, or 33%. So 10 of the 30 sold for less than what was being put in front of you. And of the 10 sold, the average reduction was 5.2%.
Well, and so do you think that the numbers are getting messed up a little bit because of the shift that we're in?
Absolutely.
And realtors pricing? We've talked about this a lot before. So when you're in a shift, how you price a property is huge. Are you pricing to what it's been, where it was, 20% over asking price?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that's a good average.
No, I think you got a great point here, and it is a transitional issue, and for everybody, not only just buyers, sellers, but also the agents.
Yes.
So if you have an agent that doesn't know their numbers, doesn't see the trends, doesn't see what's happening in the world around, what's going on in California, what's going on in Texas, will affect us. It's just like this mindset. The media will tell you how bad you are. The market is crashing. It's not.
I haven't heard anybody say that in the media, but it's
not those exact words.
Maybe it's what I'm listening to. So be
Prices
careful.
are falling.
Be careful who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Always.
Prices are falling, they said.
Well, no wonder people are out there still talking about a housing crash, because they're hearing it somewhere.
Chicken Little. The sky is falling.
Well, it's kind of like the political ads, right? Do you vote for a candidate based on what you hear on TV? Is that your criteria?
No.
Is that how you go through life?
No.
Please don't.
No. I meet them. I talk to them. I ask them questions.
You show up for a Realtor and Government Day.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
But you don't get all of them there. But still,
yes.
You're trying to stay in touch and have real conversations with people.
I do.
Just consider your sources. I'm always going to say.
Here's what you need to know. On average, over the last 30 gazillion years, 5 million people buy and sell a house every year across the United States.
No matter what is going on.
It'll fluctuate.
In the economy.
And we're over 6 million, like 6.2 million last year. But that's because of people being able to go out with low interest rates and buy a house. Wealth building.
Buy a house?
Yeah, wealth building. I said that to somebody the other day about, you start your wealth building. And they said, I don't want to be rich. I said, I didn't say anything about being rich. I said wealth building. Wealth building is that you're paying yourself instead of paying a landlord. You put the money from your house into your own pocket.
You're building your investment
Right.
portfolio, your retirement portfolio. Real estate should be part of that.
Right.
Diversification.
I agree.
Fixed assets,
Yeah.
market.
Yeah. And I also made the comment that rich is a state of mind. It's not about the dollars, because I know a lot of miserable, wealthy people.
And a lot of people who have nothing and
With
feel like they're
millions.
blessed beyond measure.
That's true. So what I wanted you to hear about is November, okay? And we've been 16 days. We're just into 16 days. So really 15 if you think about it. So half the month.
More than half, because let's be honest, right? Thursday, Friday, Thanksgiving, and shopping.
Yes,
So
shopping.
we're really
You're
over
going
halfway through.
You're going shopping. I know.
I'm not doing Black Friday.
We will not be on the air next Wednesday.
Goody.
I'm driving to Kentucky
I figured.
to see my papa.
Good.
All right.
That's what you should do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not very much.
So here's what, if you're thinking about the market, if you're thinking about buying and selling, because the question we always get is it still a good time to buy or sell, or should we wait? Well, I got to tell you something. That question happens every single year that I have been in real estate, and that's 17 years. And every year about the same time, is it still a good time to buy or sell, or should I wait till spring? I know. Laura's rolling her eyes, going, "Yeah, well, it's
We've
hot."
talked about this so many times,
I know.
but you're right. In various markets, it doesn't matter
Correct.
what the market is.
Right.
It's always about timing.
Right.
When interest rates were in the 2 and 3% range, well, do you think they could go lower? Should I wait?
Should I wait?
No. Why would you wait?
Why would you wait? No, let's not wait.
Because we're just geared toward like more bang for
Right.
our buck, right? I
Right.
want to time things. I want to make my money. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
good luck
but
with that.
you can't time things.
No, you can't.
Nope.
You can't do it.
Mm-mm.
Just it's like if you give that little, it's like a little test thing. You say, put your arm up, and when my arm drops, tell me to stop. And by the time you tell me to stop, my arm's already down. So you've missed the time that you really needed to be there. So in
Yeah.
other words, just be in a game and get in there, and it can be construed a game. So let me just show you what I'm talking about too, and why it's a good time to buy or sell right now. So in November, now this is for you people that enjoy going to Realtor.com and to Zillow. Right now, if you go to Realtor.com, it says there are 220 homes for sale in Sun Prairie.
Sounds like a high number.
Okay. It's a quarter of the homes sold every year.
Okay.
Zillow says we have 82 homes for sale.
Wait, Realtor.com says 220?
Yeah.
And Zillow says 80.
82.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
Explain.
Okay, so that's because the algorithms are all screwed up, and they are they don't have the information. They don't have accurate information. They're not. They just don't know.
It's
They
not
don't.
current.
It's not current. Now, if you go to the MLS, now if you have an inexperienced real estate agent, they go to the MLS and they
What
type
is
in
the MLS?
multiple listing service. Thank you very much. It's the device that we use to search to sell and buy homes.
Yeah.
Gives you all the
We're
information.
so used to all these acronyms, but we
I
have
know.
to stop and realize,
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway.
In fact, the multiple listing service feeds Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com.
But delayed?
It's delayed.
Okay, so this is what people need to understand.
But they also don't read the information, because let me give an example. So what I was going to say, if you have an inexperienced agent that's not used to working with the multiple listing service, they'll go in and type all active for Sun Prairie, City of Sun Prairie. And all of our information is City of Sun Prairie. So if they type that in, all actives, then you get 57 homes that are on the market in Sun Prairie. But wait, there's more. If you go and hit the active button, there's actually only 42 homes.
But you just said they search for active.
They search
come up with
all
more.
active, which means they're active show. The different
Contingent?
statuses. Pardon?
Contingent?
Yes, they're contingencies. So they'll have active show,
Ah,
show, offer no show.
but there are offers in play.
Yes.
So you probably don't want to be looking at it? Or what
Correct.
would you say about
well,
that?
you could always do a secondary low.
Okay.
Secondary
People
position.
don't know this though.
No, they don't. And
Yeah.
we haven't talked about those because we haven't needed them.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to talk about it again. Not right
Not
now,
this
but a
second.
different show.
I know. Well, we're only 18 minutes into the show.
Then talk about it.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, but here's what I want you to know. So I told you there are actually 42 homes on the market, right?
Mhm.
Uh-uh.
No?
The real number is 13.
Oh, come on.
13. Why?
Ghost listings?
Ghost listings.
There's that many though?
29 ghost listings or new construction properties.
Thank you. So we're not in Halloween season
No,
anymore. What
no.
is a ghost listing?
A ghost listing is a property that is a could be if you want
It's
to
not
build
built
it.
yet.
Correct. Or it may not even ever be built. They just say, this is the model we have, and we could have this in 6 months.
It's a twinkle in the builder's eye.
It is.
Okay.
It is. So you need to know that. 13 homes. That's the thing. That number is what you need to focus on. 13 homes, okay?
That's
Now-
not much.
No, it's
Wow.
not. But of the 13 homes, the demand is bigger than that. And so you've got an opportunity. You have low inventory. What does low inventory mean to you as a seller? It means you're going to have a higher equity because you can pull a higher price because there's not that many selections or choices of homes.
Mm-hmm. Supply and demand.
Right. Somebody is looking for the things a $500,000 home can give them are not going to buy a $200,000 home unless they're doing it for an income purpose. Everybody has their segments of where they're going to buy a home. And if you have fewer of those and they have to buy a home, they're going to buy yours. And they'll pay top dollar for it.
Because there aren't enough out there to choose from.
Correct.
Yes.
So then the next question that you would ask would be something like, well, then I don't need a real estate agent. If there's only 13 available and I can just put a sign in the yard and it's going to sell. You can. You absolutely can. I have a situation, well, I'll share that in a second. You just have to be careful. And you need to figure out where to price your property. Because now you're getting into a very sensitive time where pricing is more of a factor than it was. Truthfully, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You definitely want to have inspections now today when you're buying a house.
You should have always.
Always.
But I understand the
state
market
law.
we were in. Just you didn't want to lose a house, so you had to do what you had to do. I get it. I just hope it didn't turn out to be a what did I do kind of situation for you.
Quick story. I have an accepted offer on a house. I have a client I'm working with, accepted offer. They go to do well and septic. I'll skip the well motor is going, pressure tank is going. Have to reroute some pipes on it. And this is a newer house. I got a 20-year-old house. We go out to the septic tank because they're going to come out and pump it and inspect it and everything. And the gentleman that owns Eckmeyer, Steve, what's Steve's last name? Timmers? God, I can't remember. I'm having like a gray moment or something like that.
You're having a human moment.
He comes out, he goes to lift the lid off. And by the way, if you've never seen a septic system, there's this big, huge cement circle, like a manhole cover, and they have handles on them. This one had a rebar handle that had just been stuck in, I don't know why, it's probably just an inexpensive one. So Steve goes to pull this lid up and it disintegrates. It looked like an old chocolate chip cookie crumbled. I mean, it was like, and all of it went into the tank. And then he grabs his shovel and he looks over at the side of this tank. And then, so what happens is the discharge is in a holding tank. And then a lot of times it's dispersed out into the field. But there are things like personal items that are still in that tank.
Drinking water, bathing water, what are you talking about?
Poo. Poo. Well, drinking all the water, the wastewater goes in and it's put through the tank, and then it goes into the field. There's a field out there that
okay.
All right, so it's gonna put.
It's good fertilizer for the fields.
Right. So
okay.
he now this tank had been inspected 2 years ago. The county gave the approval because somebody else came out and inspected it. Guess what? The tank crumbled.
Yeah,
the
come on, that was
decided,
starting right back then.
And so they definitely would have had it.
Okay.
So if you had no inspection, if you went out and bought a house and had no inspection, that cost you $10,000.
Ouch.
$10,000.
Yep.
And so, kind of interesting there. Now, here's why you need an agent, a real estate agent too. So, same property, same place. I get an email from the agent. Hey, does your buyer want to continue with the rental of the water softener from Culligan? It's only $35 a month. And I'm like, how did I miss a rental water softener? Because in the multiple listing service, it tells you, but you should put it in there. Then also on the real estate condition report, you put it in there. And I kept thinking, there's nowhere that says that there is a rented water softener. And I kept looking, no. And they even checked. There is no rental equipment there, including a water softener. So they're now buying a water softener, somebody is, for my buyer.
Uh-oh.
It cost them $1,200.
Uh-oh.
An extra $1,200. Yeah. And the seller's mad, I was told. The seller's mad at the buyers because they're being ridiculous.
Well, you need a water softener.
I know.
And you didn't disclose properly, so whose fault is that?
There you go. There's the question.
Come on. This is the stuff that people don't realize could be a problem if you
Right.
do it on your own.
Yes.
You don't know contracts. You don't know what needs to be disclosed, or if
Correct.
there's an issue, you don't know how to negotiate for yourself.
Correct. Correct.
So
that's why right now you got to get away from not doing an inspection. If any rural properties, I would say to do it. And by the way, if Jim Bellinger were here, he'd tell you there's just as many problems in new construction,
yeah.
as there is in existing.
And he's a
property.
builder and
Yeah.
an inspector. He has a lot of knowledge in this area.
He
So if
does.
somebody gets a home inspection, not any additional inspections like radon or anything else, what is it right now, like 400?
For just a home inspection?
Yeah.
About 300 to 500, depending on the size.
Why would you not do that?
Right, right. Well, I have a buyer seller. They use Jim to inspect the home they're buying, and they decided with some prodding. I said, "Wouldn't it be nice to know what your house is how your house is going to inspect?" And so they did a pre-inspection. So now we can hand that off to the buyer, and they can pay Jim $100 or $200 to come out, and he'll walk through the entire house for them.
Yep. If it's a reputable inspector
Yes.
and the seller has done that ahead of time,
Yes.
my point of view, I
Yeah.
already trust this house and the seller
Yeah.
a whole lot more because they did that.
Yeah,
And I know what the issues are.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Don't know why you wouldn't do that as a seller or a buyer.
That's
Either
true.
one, especially buyers.
Right. So let's go back to the market for a second. So right now we are a week away from Thanksgiving. So now we're starting a little bit of the holiday trend. Okay. So in other words, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and we're getting ready for Christmas and all that in the holidays. And so there is usually a slowdown. There's
Always.
There's
No
always.
matter the market.
Right. It's seasonal. It's a seasonal trend.
It is.
That doesn't mean that people don't want to buy houses. Some of my best years in real estate have been from November, December, and January. And I think it's because I have the attitude is if somebody's going to come out and look at my house in 3 feet of snow,
They're
serious. Right.
Yeah.
Or in cold temperatures, they're serious. They're not just out shopping. So
Nope.
So far this month, 9 sales have occurred as of 10 a.m. this morning. 27 homes had sold last year, same time in November. So the solds are down 67% over last year. Median price is down about 2%. Did you hear me? It dropped 2% compared to last November. And so it went from 349. It went from it's now 349,000 compared to 357. So a little bit of a change there. Don't get stuck on that percentage. Let's wait and see what happens by month end and see what the change is there.
So sellers are still, what I'm hearing is, sellers are still going to get a good price.
Great price.
For your home.
Yeah.
You haven't missed out, except on craziness and frenzy that I'm guessing most of you would not have welcomed anyway.
Right.
20, 30, 40,000, how do I choose?
Right.
Buyers with issues. I mean, who knows what. And for buyers, there's a little bit of negotiating room, or at least not
Sure.
the stress involved in, I can't have an inspection and I have to offer how much over? This is insane. It's not that anymore. It's not balanced either. It's still a seller's market. But the buyer has a lot more opportunities now than they have in the last, what, year?
Yes.
2 years.
At
Probably
least.
2 years. Yeah.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about this, now, well, let's say this too. 4 of the homes sold over asking price, which of the 9. So 308 Joshua Circle was 11% over. It was listed at 298. It sold for 311. It was underpriced.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah.
Sean Crewall, friend of ours.
That's
from
what I
Keller
thought.
Williams.
Yeah.
Great guy, love him to death.
Uh-huh.
We actually put an offer in on that property, and we went to the max that we felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
But not at $311,000. But so that was the 4, and then there was 1 that sold below the asking price, and that was on Sanibel Lane. That dropped from $394 to $389.9. Small amount, but so something must have been in there that needed some repairs, and they took a price reduction instead of doing a credit. I'll bet you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of this, I want you to know only 3 of these homes have competing offers. Of the 9.
Only 3?
Uh huh.
I'm thinking about what Anne had said about the 4 listings that she had, and I thought she said all 4 had competing offers.
Wow.
Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe
we'll
not.
see. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It is a fun market right now, I believe. But here's the thing: you got to lock this down, circle it, underline it, and write it on the wall somewhere. You've got to work with somebody that knows the market, and the way you find that out is by asking questions. Ask them questions. Ask them, what are the numbers for the city of Sun Prairie? And then when they say it, you go single family or condo. A lot of times they bundle them together.
Yeah.
Don't let them bundle. No bundling allowed. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Have a list of questions
Yeah.
and ask the same questions of a few realtors
Uh-huh.
and see what you get.
Sure.
You will see differences.
You definitely will.
Yeah.
It reminds me of back when I was interviewing people for Baker Healthcare. And I'd get these folks coming in, and a lot of them they're fresh out of school with their MBAs and all that. And their number one response is, I like people. I like people. I'm really good with people. And I feel I'll do a good job because I really like people. And if people like people,
Everybody says that.
I know they do.
Yeah.
They do.
I offer great customer service. Oh, do you?
You do. Great.
Well, that's rare. That's
Sweet.
unique. Actually, sadly, it is unique.
I give the best service out there. I've sold the most homes. We've sold 300 homes this year. Okay, do you know what you're doing though? You got a team of 20. I mean, yeah, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
It's not how many they sell, it's how you're represented.
And some of the numbers are skewed based on certain data. And so, again, just think about what you're believing and where the information is coming from.
Right, I agree. So we're going to talk about something here that I think is interesting because we're seeing a little bit of seller concessions. How's that say? I'm going to show you a way. Laura and I it's going to be more Laura than I because this is her bailiwick. But show you a way that you can work with a seller and to buy down your interest rates and what you're doing for your mortgage. So, and really because interest rates are climbing, there's temporary buy downs have become kind of like a new avenue to help some of the sellers and buyers in their consideration and how they're going to handle it. So a 2-1-1 buy down program is a concession offered by the seller to incentivize the buyers. A 2-1 buy down essentially allows the borrower to make a lower mortgage payment for the first 2 years of their loan, and payments go back up on the 3rd year of the loan. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Missy, why would they want to do this?
Who's Missy?
You are now. Missy?
It's a way to ease into your rate,
Yeah.
for one.
Sure.
Because there's been a bit of payment shock going on. Imagine that coming from, well, we'll just say 3. It was a little below 3 to start the new year. And now we're in November, and rates are definitely double, more than double. So that's payment shock for a lot of people. If you go with this route where you're paying, let's say the rate today is 7%, and then you go with a buy down and you're paying it back based at 5% for the first year
That's
or 2
the
years
2.
of your loan.
Right.
Yeah. Then it gives you a chance to kind of ease into your mortgage payment.
Sure.
The seller can help you get into that kind of a situation. The thing is, though, there's other options too.
Yeah.
And so, like you were talking about, anybody, I don't care what you're doing, make sure you're working with professionals and people who have tools, I guess, things that can help you understand more about numbers. For a lot of people, numbers are like fog over. I don't know what you're talking about, and I hate what you're talking about because I hate numbers. But there's tools out there that can help you, like in your situation. Here's some options. I just ran actually a scenario where, like, $400,000 house, what if the seller was willing to give $8,000? Let's just say 2%
Okay.
of the purchase price.
Okay.
So the
My
options,
eyes just rolled, everybody. My eyebrows went up, my eyes rolled. I'm like, $8,000?
I know.
What are you, nuts?
Well, but it's 2%. It's not like impossible.
No, but
It's-
look, can we set the stage for somebody though?
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody's going to do this.
No.
They're-
And
but
maybe you don't want to,
Well,
is the
maybe you
point.
don't.
You
Well-
need to know how the numbers shake out for you.
Well, yeah, but let's talk about it from the seller standpoint for a minute.
Yeah.
Why would I want to do that? I want the most I can get for that house.
Well, sellers are looking at a situation right now, right, where buyers are on edge and maybe laying back. I don't
Right.
know if I want to buy a house at 7%.
Sure.
But if I could buy it at 5 for a couple of years, I might want to do that. That's more comfortable for me. I'm going to expect that my income is going to increase.
Sure.
And I'll be more comfortable. Hopefully you don't take on a lot more debt.
Sure.
Hopefully your income does increase. Or even maybe you're not sure how long you're going to be
Sure.
in this house.
I agree.
So there's
Right.
reasons, because it entices more buyers to come to your property to buy homes if you give them an incentive for a little bit lower rate.
Right, I agree. So a great situation would be if you had a home that's on the market. It might be a little overpriced. It's days on the market. It's been there a little bit longer than it should be. It's just a creative way of making an offer, placing an offer. And if your agent is good at what they do, they're going to really describe the whole process of why you're using this. Because you are asking for 2%. And they're going to say, well, we just dropped the price 2%. Well, okay, but that doesn't get you the same result for the buyer.
No.
Because the buyer's going to get 2% off the best rate that's available, right? For 2 years. Third year, it goes back up, right? So you heard us say in the previous show, marry the house, date the rate. Marry the house, date the rate. So if you love the house, buy it. Let's do it creatively. I mean, there's all different kind of programs, as Laura just said. This is just one to give you an idea of what you can do.
There's options.
There's a bunch of options.
There's always options, yeah.
Not everybody has those options, right?
Not everybody has the options, no. So again,
Talk
ask
about lenders, folks.
questions. For your realtor, for your lender, both. Have a list of questions. And for both, you're going to figure out who actually has options, who's listening to you, who knows their job well. So anyway, in the scenario that I did, it was using just those numbers, just,
Sure.
for even numbers, I guess. But
Right.
if the seller has already come to a point where they're like, all right, fine, if it attracts more buyers, or if it gets this buyer to put an offer in on my property, I'll offer this. So you could do like, the seller at that point doesn't really care how you spend their $8,000, I don't think. Why do they care? It's gone.
Right.
So you use it for a price reduction. But like if you're financing $392 versus $400,000, how much of a difference in your payment do you think that really makes?
Not much.
Teeny tiny.
Pennies.
Teeny tiny.
Pennies
yeah.
a day.
So that doesn't necessarily make you go, oh, now I'll buy it, because now I'm financing $8,000 less over 30 years. It doesn't make that much of a difference. Or they could give you the money toward a temporary buy down. Maybe do this 2-1 option, or there's also a 3-2-1 option, where like in the first year you're paying 3% below the market rate, and then it bumps up to 5%, and so on. So it's graduated.
Okay.
So there's another option that the seller could help you with and pay down, same $8,000. So I ran a scenario anyway where it was a permanent buy down. Yes, I'm visual. I use my hands a lot. Quit laughing at me. You'd think I'm Italian because I talk with my hands a lot, but I'm not. I just want to
Yo,
be.
Laura.
Laura. No, that's Southern anyway. That's
Yo,
all another
Laura.
thing. That's like New York
Yes.
Italian.
Yeah, New York.
Anyway.
What's wrong with you?
So a scenario where the buyer says, you know what, I'll give you 2% to buy your rate down. So you take that $8,000 and you buy your rate way down as a permanent buy down. So you're permanently buying down your interest rate.
Okay.
Okay, that's what your monthly payment is based on, and maybe that now does make it more affordable. So you always have this option to buy down your interest rate with points out of your pocket.
Okay.
If it's out of your pocket, and then let's say your job changes and you are moving on in 2 or 3 years,
Yes.
or let's say interest rates drop next year or the next year, and you're like, oh, but I paid $8,000 out of my own pocket. And again, it's never this much. People don't pay this much to buy down rates. It's just a number I'm throwing out there. But so if you paid a few $1,000s, let's say, to buy down your interest rate, and now interest rates drop next year, well, that money that you paid to buy down your rate is just gone. Like you just spent it, it's gone. It's not really benefiting you anymore because you paid to buy it down, but now you're actually going through a refinance process. And so if the seller's paying it, it's no skin off your back. You can still refinance in a year, and you don't have to worry about money that you just lost by buying down your interest rate out of your pocket.
Exactly.
The seller does it, it's different. And so in this scenario that I did the permanent buy down, I think I did the 2-1 buy down, and then a price drop. And it made a whole lot more sense to get the seller to pay for the permanent buy down.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
But not too many people do that.
No. But yeah, you need to see the numbers, because I could tell you things all day long. It doesn't
Sure.
mean you probably heard a third of what I said, because I'm talking numbers, right? But if you
I
see
heard
it, you would. You're different.
I heard you.
I hear you. I see you. So you need these things anyway laid out for you, I think, so that you can visually see, oh, okay, I get it. That's the difference in my payment.
Uh-huh.
That's the difference short term, long term. These are all things you need to know.
Things you gotta know.
You gotta know.
You gotta know these things.
I also did a cost of waiting recently.
Cost of waiting.
Yeah.
Wow, you're like getting it. You're becoming me.
No.
That's
I'm
scary.
not doing rabbit holes. I really
I think
don't
you-
like doing this stuff, but I'm a professional and I know people need this stuff, so I'll do it. Like, I know what's going to work best, but you have to decide in the end what's comfortable for
Sure.
you. It's not my choice. It's not my decision. It's not my mortgage. But so anyway, like based on what we're expecting appreciation to look like. And yes, we are expecting appreciation.
We are?
We are.
Oof.
Right? I mean, at varying levels over the next few years, but prices are still expected to appreciate in value, not depreciate.
Well, that's why I buy a house.
Right.
So I can make money off
The
my
cost of waiting.
money. Right.
Don't wait. You're going to pay more for the house, even if interest
Right.
rates go up.
Right.
The difference in how much more you pay versus like the difference in interest rate
Right.
is bigger and more costly for you.
I had not an argument, disagreement with somebody the other
A
day.
discussion.
Okay, just a discussion. They were wrong, but that's okay. They said, well, maybe it would be better if I just put my money into the stock market. I'm like, no.
Nope, I disagree.
No. I said, let's go buy a $400,000 house, and let's put $10,000 down on that house, if you can do that. And I said, let's see. Oh, I'm going to have a 10% appreciation in my house. Oh, okay, that's $40,000. I just made $40,000. I said, let's take that 10%, that $10,000, put it in the stock market. Let's have a 10%, a 10% improvement yield in that. So how much is that? $1,000. Let's see, 40,000 or 1,000.
Were they following you? How come it was an argument? I'm just curious.
Well, they're like, oh, well, the market's crashing. What if the price goes down?
come
okay.
on.
I said, okay, so the price goes down and you only appreciate 5%. Now you just made $20,000 of money that's not yours.
I would take 20,000.
All right. I said,
5,000.
You would actually take 1%. And they laughed at me. Well, no, I wouldn't. I said, well, if you're in the stock market and you got $10,000 in there, and even if you make a 30% improvement, that's still $3,000. It's still less than just 1% appreciation in a house.
This is kind of simple math.
I know.
Even for people who don't like math.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, so
Yes.
they say.
So I want to talk to you. So you heard a great idea here. So this is a wonderful strategy also for your realtor. So if you're working with a realtor and you're trying to figure out how to write an offer on something, talk about the financing, and hopefully you're working with a quality realtor. But I'll tell you this right now: if you're using an internet mortgage company, forget about it. I don't care if they've got. I don't care if they've got firecrackers, rockets, or whatever. You don't need to be using them because they're not going to do this for you.
Firecrackers and rockets.
Well, yeah.
Rockets. I like how you did that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. Said it without saying it. I like
I passed
it.
the Jeff Robbins test, I'm sure.
He would be proud.
He'd be
I think.
proud of me.
I'm not sure.
I know. He said I'm always pushing buttons. I'm like, yeah, I'm in a studio. Gotta push buttons.
Yeah, but you're a figurative button pusher as
Oh,
well.
thank you
We all
very
know
much.
that about you.
So be careful who you choose. And believe me, there are differences. Now, I'm going to share a story. Got time? I got time. Okay. So I've got a wonderful couple that is downsizing. Their kids are gone. They want to be moved closer to their grandson. And when I say closer, from Westwind over to by your house, over on Trapp Street. We're not too far from Trapp. You're a little ways from Trapp. Over on Trapp, over by
Are
Jody.
you talking about Adam?
Well, yeah, they're going to move over by Adam.
Yeah.
Kohler and Trapp, right down the road.
Yes.
So here's the process though. So they're gonna buy the house on Trapp, and so how are they gonna do it? They want to pay cash for it. So they know we know they have the equity in their home. So they've been doing business with a company, a bank out of Green Bay with the initials AB. And when they told me this, I'm like, oh my gosh, no.
Do you know the company?
I know the company.
AB. I don't know what that would be.
I'd be wrong if I said Associated Bank.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be wrong.
All right.
So anyway, so we go. She insists on this. Oh, I've been working with them for over 30 years. They've been good to me.
Yeah.
I said they're terrible. I don't have good success.
I didn't say that, just for the record. I didn't
Jeff.
say that.
So I said, and here's the reason why. They're just not personal. They don't put you first. You need to work with somebody local. We called you about this, and because you don't really do that secondary markets, or that not secondary, but like equity line or
Home
bridge
equities.
lines.
Yeah, no,
and all
I
that
don't
stuff.
do those. First
So-
mortgages only.
So then our next choice
Michelle.
was Michelle Hahn
Yeah.
at Bank of Sun Prairie. And Michelle Hahn wrapped her arms around these people and took care of them. Wait, there's more. So in this process, AB Bank decided that they were going to just continue through some of the steps on this, and they did an appraisal. All of a sudden, an appraisal just pops up.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So I'm pricing the house between. It'll probably be 525, 489 to 525. Okay. Well, AB Bank came with an appraisal of 424.
Oh.
Guess what? They never came in the house. They just drove by. We think they drove by. We don't even know if they drove by. No. Yeah.
Are they charging them for this?
I don't think so. They didn't approve the appraisal.
Okay.
So then we get the wonderful Michelle Hahn and Bank of Sun Prairie. And we get through this process and got John Hamm was the appraiser,
Mm-hmm.
who's just a dynamite appraiser. You can talk to him,
He's
have
a
a good
good guy.
conversation.
Mhm.
560.
Oh. It's a little disparity there, huh?
So much
Wow.
that I went back and I looked at the numbers to see where I liked it. And I'm like, holy cow. All right. So I'm giving the. So the point I'm trying to make here is somebody local that knows the market,
Yes.
local appraiser, they know what's happening. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to give you the correct answers on this.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Hahn said, you don't need a home equity line. You need a bridge loan. And okay. She goes, what do I have to do? She goes, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And it was just that easy.
And then they'll go into their new house without having a mortgage on it.
Correct.
Perfect.
Correct. And now we
Yes.
So the only thing drawback for me is, and Bank of Sun Prairie knows it, we're selling the house, but it's not on the market yet. Because you can't get a loan on a house that's being up for sale.
That's on the market right now. Right.
And so, but it was a great move. And her knowledge, like you, of saying, no, we're not going to do a home equity loan. We're going to do a bridge loan for this.
Yeah.
And like, wow, I didn't even think about
There's
a bridge
options
loan.
that you just don't know about, right?
Well, sure.
So,
Well, knowing about them, yes, I know about them. I didn't think about it. But I should let the car mechanics fix the car, not me.
You want to work with people who are professionals at what they do, care about you,
Right.
not order takers.
Correct.
I sit in a cubicle, your application came in online, you may or may not hear from me, but here's a pre-approval
Right.
for a certain amount of money.
Right.
And then the next time you call in, it's probably somebody different.
Right.
But they're not really going over options with you. They're probably just trying to get you a vanilla mortgage,
Yeah, that's exactly.
if it even fits.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Here's our rate. Well, is that the best you got? No, here's our other rate.
Ooh, did we forget to tell you until you finally get your documents, if you happen to read them, that you're paying a bunch of points to get that rate? Oh, I'm sorry. Did we not talk about that? Oh, wait, we didn't talk. That's right.
We didn't talk. Okay. Oh my
I know.
God. Texting and email. Just
I know. Something that I've seen with these two, they're trying to bait people. The one with the rockets and firecrackers and stuff, I think it's them. Advertising like, hey, go ahead and buy a house with us now, finance with us, and if rates come down next year, we'll do a no-cost refinance for you.
A no-cost refi?
Yeah.
Well,
Careful. Be careful.
Somebody's got to get paid.
Somebody has to pay those costs, title costs, appraisal, might be able to get a waiver, but they don't know that yet. They won't know until the application comes through and gets sent through the automated underwriting process. There's fixed costs involved in a purchase and a refinance, always.
Yeah.
So who's paying for them? Do you really think that the rockets and firecrackers are paying for it? They're not.
No.
They're building it into your rate at the time.
Absolutely.
And you don't even know it.
Absolutely.
So, buyer beware. Please.
Absolutely.
Don't believe everything. Isn't this common sense? Don't believe everything you read in here?
Yes.
Don't most people know this
Something
by
like that.
now?
You know,
I
don't
know.
touch, it's hot. You know, common sense.
Yeah, but I do touch it.
Wet paint, don't touch.
I don't do that. I just have to know
You
how
just
hot
sit
it
on it.
is. I'm weird.
Hey, I did have, I was appointed to the Housing Committee and excited to be a part of that. Mayor Esser appointed me as a member of 8 with Jimmy Kaufman, Brent Eisberner, Steve Hanrahan from...
Hanrahan?
What's his, from... I'm trying to say Shelter from the Storm, but that's not it.
I'm totally...
With Valerie Rink.
Habitat.
Habitat, there
oh
you
my
go,
gosh,
Habitat.
yes, I was doing the same
A
thing.
couple of developers that are on there, also Bob Yokish, I said Brent Eisberg already. So it's a pretty nice mix, and Jimmy Kaufman and I were having a great conversation. It was like we all just gathered around Jimmy and just listened to him talk the other night. We have our next meeting is in December. We'll have some folks on from the committee, maybe even Mayor Esser, get Mayor in here and let him talk about ideas, thoughts about housing in Sun Prairie. And this is for all housing. This isn't just for purchasing a home. It's also rental. It's also about holding landlords accountable for the condition of their properties and things like that. Maybe even their review policies when they're looking at candidates who's moving in. You know, because there's been some issues. The one thing is the lack of care for rental properties and how to address that as a city. But then again, the other thing is, and when I had to speak, and if you'd like to go see this, the first meeting, you can go to KSUN, go to On Demand, and look up Housing Committee, and you'll see I got to have the first dissertation. They gave me the microphone.
That was a mistake.
And asked me why it was so important for me to be on this committee. And I shared the fact that I know that there is a way in the fastest growing community in Wisconsin for us to create a unique model. Unique means different than anything that's out there to help people buy homes. There's got to be a combination thing. And we just keep doing things the same way we've always been doing them, we'll be insane. Because it's insanity.
That is the
It's
definition
just
of.
stupid.
Uh-huh.
It's stupid. I hate that word, but I like to say it. Stupid.
If it isn't working well, it's time to revisit.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think there's ways, and I think this committee especially could really look into that. And hoping we can keep the politics out of it and just see how we can help people. I mean, I think it'd be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we meet on the second Monday of every month, 6:30 till 9 in the chambers. You're always welcome to attend. And there you have it.
Be part of the solution.
Yes. I'm excited about it. I am. I'm excited about it.
I'm glad there is such a thing.
And if I'm not, I'll tell you.
Oh, we know.
I'll tell everybody. Trust me.
We know.
The devil will go down to Georgia.
Ooh, looking for a soul to steal.
Yeah, I tell you. So what did we miss today? Anything? That was a pretty quick recap.
Yeah, keep your options open. Know that there are options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't talk yourself out of it because you think rates are. I had somebody come into my website, a past client, because they're thinking about selling and buying something else.
Okay.
And she's like, well,
That's a
I
good thing.
started the process. I started looking at where rates are in the calculator, and
Sure.
she's like, oh gosh, we can't do it right now. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, I'm not trying to talk you into something you're not comfortable
Right.
doing, and never.
Right.
But you need to maybe just get it in and get it done.
Sure.
And guess what? Rates have come down since then.
Sure.
So don't talk yourself out of it.
Right.
Go through it, find out what's possible for you,
Exactly.
and you decide.
But you got to have the person with the experience to
Yeah.
do that, and that's, in this case, that's you, Miss Loris. Thank
I
you.
kind of know what I'm talking. Not. I don't know everything. I came across a situation recently I haven't seen and I've never done in 25 years, and I'm like, and I
Wow.
didn't want to, by the way. But anyway, things are always different because people are always different.
Okay.
But experience does matter. You
Yeah.
build on that over the years, and it does help you go, oh, wait a minute.
Sure.
We need to take care of this
Yeah.
because I know what that's going to cause
Uh-huh.
because I've been doing this a long time. Keep your mind open.
Keep your mind open. Stay in curiosity.
Stay in curiosity.
Seek to understand.
Always. Question mark.
Question mark. Question
Yeah.
mark. Just like, why are we building all these apartments? Because we have people that want to live in them.
I know.
And we'll fill all of them up.
but People need more information on that. They just do. Unless the naysayers are just closed-minded,
Right.
and it doesn't matter what you say to them. I don't know, but I keep hearing it. Like, Mayor Esser, and
Well,
like, we really need another apartment building, and they're built too close to the, whose idea was that? All kinds of blah, blah,
Planning
blah.
Commission.
Yeah.
Get involved. If you want to learn, get involved. Go down and listen to the Planning
Be part
Commission.
of the solution.
Watch it on TV. Be part of the solution on this.
Don't
But
be a complainer.
I know. I was saying the other day, I'm one of the only realtors, I think, that says that we need more apartments. But I understand that we have 90%, 96% occupancy in those apartments.
Okay, but I'm still going to say we need more condos then. But
I
I get that
love
for the
condos.
builder, for the developers, that's not as profitable.
Right.
How can we make it more profitable so we can bring in more homes for people to
Sure.
own and build wealth in?
Yes, exactly. And there you have it. There's your dagger.
Ta-da!
We have the answer. Hey, thanks everybody for listening. We're glad to be back on the air this morning, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. We won't be on next week. Want to wish you
Happy Thanksgiving.
yeah, have a happy Turkey Day. Of course, my favorite dish for Thanksgiving is oysters, scalloped
Ugh.
oysters.
You can have them.
My
Gross.
mama and my
Ugh.
grandma made them, so I'll be making those next week.
I won't fight you for them.
What? You gotta try it. You gotta try
No.
it. They're good.
A bite to be polite.
Yes,
I
a
tell
bite
my
to be
kids
polite.
that. So.
But have a great Thanksgiving, and we're very thankful that we have you listening to the show and being a part of it. Thank you for all the interaction when we're out at the Buck and Honeys or wherever. Your thoughts and ideas are really what guides this show. So thank you so much for being a part of it, and thanks for supporting the Media Center. As Station of the Year, we're very proud of that, and just proud to be one of the supporters of the Media Center. Not only one of the personalities, but a supporter of the Media Center. So till 2 weeks from now, have a great week, everybody, and enjoy Thanksgiving.
Bye, Sun Prairie. Happy Thanksgiving. Air guitar? Sorry,
What's that?
air guitar, I said.
Yeah, air guitar. I'm good at air guitar.
Are
All
you?
right, there you go. Scroll lock.
I think they're going to catch me. I filled out the form online and I tried to pay online and it gave me an error. And
For
I'm
who?
like, the Media Center. And I'm like, well, I'll just pay when I come next